So for this learning exercise, we're going to look at how objects are created both in a main method, like the zyBooks text, and also in BlueJ, and see how they're a little different. So we're going to start by opening up this Learning Exercise 3 lease example project. So if I scroll down, you should see it attached. And remember, you can download it by clicking the download button. So download it, unzip it, and open up at BlueJ. You should see a car lease object and a car lease with main object here. Okay, then we're going to step through a couple things with it. First, we're going to look at the car lease with main class. This comes right from zyBook section 2.5. So if you remember back in section 2.5, the zyBooks gave this example of a main class with these methods. So this class has just been moved into BlueJ here, so I can open it up. Let me reposition it here. So again, we have the class is called car lease with main. That's the only difference here is before it was just called car lease. But now we're comparing it with another one. So I called this one car lease with main. It has a main method. It has a scanner object for reading from the keyboard below, and it declares four integer variables: one for down payment, the payments per month, the number of months, and the total cost of the lease. And then it asks you enter the down payment, and then it reads that in using the scanner from the keyboard, and it says enter the monthly payments. It does that. Okay, so this is all in one main method here of our class. So now we're going to run the main method. We're going to enter $500 for the down payment, $350 for the monthly payment, and 60 months. It's 5 years, 60 months for the number of months in the lease. And we're going to note the total lease cost. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to run the main method. I can just hit OK here. It'll bring up a terminal window. I can enter 500 for the down payment. What was the 350 was the total cost. The monthly payment was 350, and the number of months was 60 months. So the total cost of this car lease is $21,500. I want to make note of that. I've got to turn that in when I'm done with this exercise. Now we're going to compare that version with a version without the main class and see how it works a little differently. So here's a version of a car lease object, public class car lease object, and I've got some variables declared here, instance variables inside my class, but they're not inside a method. They're inside the class itself. If you remember, let's open both of these up. In the original one and the main one, the variables were declared within the main method, and there was only one method, the main method. So here I've got the variables declared in the object itself. I've got a constructor here that initializes the variables, and in this one we declared and initialized them at the same time. Here I'm initializing them in my constructor. Remember, the constructor is a special object with the same name as the class, and that's called when the class is created. Then I have a get lease information method that goes out and gets all the information, declares a scanner object, and says, enter the down payment, and reads that from the keyboard and stores it in the down payment method. What's nice about classes is that inside any method, we can access any of the fields, the variables declared in the class itself. So methods can access variables declared within their own method, but also access variables declared in the class itself. So I can access all these variables here. I have another method here called display total cost. I do my calculation of the total cost and I print this out. So basically I've just taken the code for this one main method and broken it up into two sub methods. One called get lease information, that's this part, and one called display total cost, which calculates the total cost and displays it. Okay. So we want to see how this is done. Now we're going to create a new car lease object and name it after some car. So I'm going to create a new, right click on that. Oops, I've got to compile it here before I can create it. Okay, now I can right click on it and say new car lease object. I'm driving an old Subaru. So I'm going to name my car that. Now, once I've got this object created here, I can call these methods. So I can get the lease information here. And just like before, I enter information here. I can enter 500, I can enter 350 for the monthly payment, and 60 months for the months. Now it doesn't display the results. Now I can go back to my car object and I can say, so far I've done this get lease information. Now I can call display total cost. It will have remembered what I've entered before and will display the total cost. So as we're looking at examples in this class, just be aware that sometimes the textbook will use these main methods and put all the code inside the main method, especially for small problems that it's trying to just illustrate points to. But we'll tend to use objects and create objects and do similar tasks using objects, especially as we move forward and learn more about how to use BlueJ. So all you have to do for this is go through the simulation, run these costs, and then submit the total lease cost. What you get at the end should be displayed in your text window. So in your terminal window at the end, just submit this amount.